What up, world? What up, world? Long time no see. I know y'all thought we was going, but we ain't going nowhere because we grumpy old vets. We don't go nowhere.
No, we stick around. Right. Stick around.
with them grandfathers that's on the porch that be yelling at the kids, and you swear you wish this. I wish this old dude would just croak so he can stop yelling at me. I ain't did nothing to him. That's us. That's us. We're on the ones that's on the porch yelling at you, telling you to get off my grass.
And whittling wood. Jay, you grumpy bastard. How you been?
I'm good. Just ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, bro. I hear you, man.
Killing me.
I hear you. What you been up to? Working your ass off or what?
Yes, my ass is definitely worked off. Just out here making it happen. You know, I moved into a 2-bedroom, so when my daughter starts coming over, she can have a place to lay her head. So
nice.
I just literally moved across the hallway.
Oh, okay. Same. So it's quick.
Yeah, I was in 204, now I'm in 203. Like it was right across the hallway. Like
nice.
It didn't take me long. They gave me the key Friday, and I took the whole weekend to move. I made sure I took the whole weekend.
Oh yeah. Take your time, man. Take your time.
What you been up to?
Man, I've been working, but I've been chauffeuring a 12-year-old around who wants to be in everything. So
I really don't blame him. I've heard this, and I really don't blame him. I heard this from Jamie before. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. So I don't blame him. I blame y'all.
No, I'm all like, baby, we need to spread the wealth, not put everything all at once. She goes, no, let him in everything. I'm like, well, you're not the one driving him. You're at work. So my ass has got to drive him. So it's crazy. I get home, I rush home, I cook dinner, I freaking drag his ass where he needs to go. I come back. I mean, it's a nonstop, and it's like 4 days a week, sometimes 5. It's nonstop. He just joined Young Marines, and they're in every damn parade, which is cool. I respect it. And then they got their own drill every week. Then baseball, which could be 3 or 4 times a week. Man,
you know what you sound like?
Grumpy old vet.
No, you sound like a soccer mom.
Dude, I am. I'm soccer dad.
No, you sound like a soccer mom.
Oh, okay. Are you saying I'm being a little bitch?
Yes, pretty much. You sound. That's exactly what I'm saying. I didn't say those words, but yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
But I was telling you earlier, man. People that know me know I like cigars, and I joined the cigar club. I was telling you about it earlier, which is really nice. Like me and Jamie go over there, we chill out, have a cigar. She has her little baby cigars. Have a drink, chill out, man. That's nice. Relax. I do like that. So that's fun. I got that going for me.
Well, that's cool. Better than me. I don't do anything at all. I chill out. I don't know. But I do watch a lot of movies. So our next guest, I'm on Netflix. So this is what I do. I'll explain it when Chuck gets on. But I got a lot of stuff from my favorites on Netflix that I have to go.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he'll give you the lowdown. He's probably seen it.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I need to turn my Netflix on now while we're in here and make sure that, hey, what about this movie? What about this movie? If he says it's trash, then I can delete it.
Right. Well, here's the deal, man. So I was on their show a couple months ago, and Chuck has seen a lot of freaking movies. And I stomped him on a movie he's never seen.
Really?
I couldn't believe it. It had Matthew McConaughey. I'm a big Matthew McConaughey fan. And it was a movie called Frailty, and he had never seen it before.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like,
I am too, so I definitely saw it.
I got to see if he's seen it yet. But yeah, I couldn't believe it because he has seen everything. But let's bring him on.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Hey, guys.
Welcome, man. Today we have with us co-hosts of the great podcast, Chuck and Ruff Go to the Movies, Jeffery, Chuck, Norris. Chuck, how's it going, brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
Good, man. Good.
Great.
Hey, thanks for coming on last minute like that. But, I've been wanting you on because you are a vet. You did your time in the Navy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How's everything going with life in the podcast?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. We've been on hiatus actually since you were last on the show. Life kind of just got in the way. a little bit of family issues and stuff like that. But we're slowly starting to get back on track. We're getting our schedules put together, and we should start producing some new content here very soon because we both got the bug. This is actually my first time getting on a podcast since we recorded Tombstone a couple of months ago. So I'm excited to be here.
So I got a question for you.
No, I haven't seen it.
No, you still haven't seen it.
I still haven't seen it.
Damn, Chuck.
I'm slacking, man. I have been slacking. I actually feel a little embarrassed about it.
No, don't be embarrassed, man. Like I said, if it went for Grumpy Old Vets, I wouldn't do any podcast because E14 has been on hiatus also as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Jamie's work, me being Caleb's chauffeur. There's not enough hours in the day, right?
Yeah, there really isn't. It's there's just a lot of stuff going on. The kids are always up to something. Work is crazy and things like that. So yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you.
I guess I'm the only one who's sitting doing podcasts every Thursday then. I haven't been on hiatus since I started the other podcast, and every Thursday I'm on a podcast doing something. And
that's awesome.
Every Thursday, I need to go on a hiatus. I think
you just started though. You got to wait a year before you go on a hiatus.
A year?
Oh yeah. You can't just start a podcast and then go immediately into a hiatus. You have to get established. You have to build the fan base. You have to really get people wanting more, and then be like, okay, guys, we're going to take a break. We'll be back at some point.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
That's how it works. But good thing about y'all, Chuck, at least you have a ton of. You guys got a ton of content. I mean, I always find shows. Find shows on y'all's podcast I haven't heard before.
That's awesome. And that's why we felt comfortable with this little hiatus we went on, because there's plenty of stuff to listen to. And it's just gearing us up for more talks and more talks and more talks. So we're excited to be ramping back up here in a little bit.
So what type of movies do you usually preview and give us things on? Like there's certain movies that you do?
We are eclectic. Nothing is left out of the spectrum. So we do comedies, action, horror. My brother might not be excited about the horror aspect of it, but then typically I'll bring on another guest to kind of help with that. But we do it all. We do not discriminate against movies. The whole idea behind the podcast, when I wanted to start this back in early 2020, was I wanted a forum. Like, this is what my brother and I did. We would get on the phone and we would talk for a long time about movies, like the new movies that we watched or old ones that we've finally just seen or haven't seen in a while and rewatched. And we would talk about how we would feel about them, what we liked about them and stuff like that. And that's kind of where the podcast kind of got birthed from. So we do not discriminate against any type of movie. We will talk about it even if we hate the movie. I've talked about plenty of movies on the show that I absolutely despise and never want to watch again, but I will talk about it.
You do, but you're clear on what you like and what you don't like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I have my established genres of movies that I absolutely like. I love anything that's sci-fi or even like sci-fi horror. I do like my comedies and I like my actions. Not a big fan of romance. So you're going to hear me, if you go back and listen to a lot of episodes, you're going to hear me complain about how movies are ruined by unnecessary romantic storylines and stuff like that. So I'm not big on any type of romance movie or even a storyline. And, of course, I'm a huge fan of Jamie's favorite actress, Drew Barrymore.
Oh, we did an episode, the first episode that we were on their
Battleship.
show. Oh, Battleship. They asked us, Chuck always has a question, right? It's either you either do the mystery question or the six. What do you do with Kevin?
Oh yeah, we mainly just do the mystery question now, but we used to do 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon,
right?
But not just Kevin Bacon. I would give you an actor or 2 actors or 2 actresses or a mixed match, and I'd say you need to connect them in the shortest amount of movies or less.
Right.
Yeah, but that seemed to stump a lot of people, so it was actually requested I don't bring that up anymore.
But anyway, the mystery question was which actor or actress that you could do without. And Jamie was quick to say Drew Barrymore.
What? She didn't even hesitate. It wasn't even a thought. Just like as soon as the question came out, she was ready. Drew Barrymore, and I'm like, wow. Poor Drew.
Right? Like, what did she
do to you?
That has been like going on 2 years ago, and it's still a running joke.
Yes. I still try to bring up Drew Barrymore at least every other episode just in honor of Jamie, so it's absolutely fun.
That is hilarious, man. Before we get too deep, I want to make sure that everybody knows you are a Navy vet.
Yes, I am.
So
Did my 6 years.
Tell us a little about you joining the Navy and stuff.
Well, if you want to believe this story or not, most people don't believe it when I tell them. I had just dropped out of college. I graduated high school in 2004, and I had just dropped out of college in 2006 because I hated it. I was in a degree I didn't want to do. I just was kind of in this kind of rut in my life. I didn't know where I wanted to be, who I was, what I wanted to do with life. And I'm literally sitting in my living room watching TV, and a Navy commercial comes on. It's the one where it's the beach, and it's the moon and the beach, and the waves are crashing on shore. Waves crash on shore. The screen goes dark. It comes back. There's footprints on the beach. Waves crash. Screen goes dark, and then footprints are gone. I kid you not. That got me to get up off my ass and go talk to a recruiter that same day. Wow. And then the rest is history. So I joined then in 2006. Went to boot camp, joined the AECF program. Heath, you know all about that. And Jay, I'm sure you do as well. And did the whole boot camp experience, found out I was going to be in FC, went to A school, all that fun stuff. After what felt like 1,000 schools, finally ended up on the USS Carl Vinson, and that's where I spent the rest of my career.
Okay, so I'm going to dog on Jay. He don't know about that sea life.
You don't know about that sea life? Oh, no.
I don't know about the sea life. I've never been on a ship.
You did 2 weeks as a Marine, right?
You said what?
You did 2 weeks on a ship, like dropping your ass off as a Marine or something?
I'm about to say, you were a Marine. You didn't spend any time on a ship?
No, he did. That's all he knew.
Okay. All right.
He knew where the chow hall was, the gym was, and where his rack was.
Rack was.
Well, I didn't know anything else. I don't know. What is
my ass rides in Navy equipment. We all know.
Yes. I'll admit it. I'll admit it.
For our viewers, Chuck, what flavor of FC were you?
Oh, so I was a computer weapons specialist. So I worked on ship self-defense systems.
So you were like a display guy.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So let's talk about sea life, because I'm gonna get into. I like sea life, man. I did 13 or 14 years of that shit. What did you like? What did you like about it? What did you hate about it?
What I liked about it is I loved going to all the different places. I think that's probably my favorite part of the sea life and going out to sea is all the fun ports. I loved South Korea, Hong Kong, Brazil. All those places were absolutely amazing. But quite honestly, I volunteered for night shifts every time we went out to sea, and that's my favorite part because it was quiet. Nobody really bothered you, and it was a chance to get caught up on work and do bigger things. Unlike during the day when everybody is just hustle, bustle. You really didn't have a whole lot of time to get things done. What I would say that I disliked about it the most is I went on my first true deployment right after I had just gotten married. So, my wife and I spent the first 7 months of our marriage apart. And, that was kind of a difficult situation. When I got back, we basically had to learn how to communicate with each other all over again, live with each other. And that was tough. But, everything works out in the end. We're going 13 years strong on October 1st. So
good. I relate to you, man, because right after me and Jamie got married, she deployed. Not me, not the senior chief. The AC-1 at the time deployed to go to Djibouti for a year. I mean, 2 months after you got married. So I feel you. It's tough, but you survive and you're stronger for it.
Absolutely. I mean, that time apart, yes, was very tough, but it helped us really build a very strong foundation of, like I said, communication, trust, all that fun stuff. We had to learn how to make it work via emails. The ship was always restricting all of our communication accesses. So
River City.
Yeah, River City, exactly. So, I mean, maybe we'd get in a couple of emails a day. Maybe it was only a couple of emails a week. Every once in a while, they would let us go on Facebook if you could get internet to cooperate long enough to do it. But I also say the command did their best to also give us those special things like video conferencing and stuff like that. I got to do that with her a couple of times. So that was, it was a challenge and a struggle, but I think those challenges really helped build a stronger marriage. It really did.
100%. And with that, you went, my first ship, I was there in 98. I'm as you know, I'm a little bit older than you. So, all right, Jay, that's enough. But with that technology, which you were able to do VTCs, which I was going to carry my first ship. That was pre-VTC times.
Mm-hmm.
But
you didn't have TV back then.
Yeah, we even have like internet, but but it was another struggle because you joined and went on your first deployment knee deep in the war on terrorism.
Yeah.
So when I joined, it was 6-month deployments. You're going to do especially if you're on a carrier, you knew you were doing a 6-month deployment. Dude, 2006, that shit was up in the air.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I mean, I joined in 2006, but because of all the schooling and stuff like that, I didn't even see the fleet until like early 2008.
Right.
So that's when I joined, but still, it was still at the height of everything and whatnot. So I remember it was the senior chief when I was in boot camp. She came and spoke to us. I think she was part of the chaplains program. She came and spoke to us and she's like, I want to commend you all for joining during a time of war, during a time of heightened terrorism, things like that. It's absolutely commendable that people would want to, go and defend their country during these very troubling times. And I never knew how to truly feel about that because that's not actually why I joined because I wanted to do something great for my country, but I'm a little selfish. I joined because I wanted to do something for myself. I didn't want to be stuck in the same podunk town that, I went to high school and stuff in. I didn't want to get stuck in life. I wanted to go out, see the world and do all that fun stuff. So when she came and talked about that, it never really dawned on me at the time that I joined that I did join during a time of war, even though I knew a war was going on. It just never really was never really my primary reason,
Right. Because when I re-enlisted, it was right after 9/11. That was the first time I re-enlisted, was like a couple months after 9/11. That's how old I am. I'd already been in for 6 years when 9/11 hit. Jay, shut the fuck up.
You didn't.
I didn't even say anything. I came in 96. So
that's true. You can't really talk. Yeah, never mind.
I went to the Marines in 96. I got out in 2001 and I came into the Navy in 2003.
Wow.
And I just retired last year.
That's true.
That's awesome.
That's true. That's awesome, man. But what was your favorite? Brazil. You hit Brazil.
Yeah.
I never
Rio.
Rio.
Yeah. So we went there. Okay. So I really feel like the command was really trying to screw us over on this one. Yeah. We got there right after Carnival was over.
It probably saved your time in.
That definitely saved your time in.
Definitely
saves your time in. I've been to Carnival in Brazil. It definitely saves your time in.
But man, it was still incredible. I still think about Rio all the time. Going just bar hopping up and down Copacabana and Ipanema Beach. Going all the way up to see a Christ the Redeemer, doing Sugarloaf Mountain, all that fun stuff. Rio, that was probably. Actually, that was the very first foreign country I had ever set foot in my entire life. So it's always memorable to me. The first one was, for a bad reason, supposed to be Haiti, because we were the first responders to the Haiti earthquake in 2010. And I volunteered to be boots on the ground to help in the efforts there, but they never actually called my name. So I'm as sad as I was, I'm glad that Haiti was not my first foreign country experience.
You would have hated that shit. Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure. But Rio was great. Peru was great. And then, of course, Hong Kong, South Korea, those all have a special place in my heart. I want to go back to all of them. Kuala Lumpur, loved it.
You said you were on the Stennis, right?
No, I was on the Vincent.
The Vincent, I mean. So I'm going to tell you something about the Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
Them assholes, man. In 98, man, we've been in the Gulf forever. Our battle group might have launched a couple missiles at the time. It was a pain, it was all right deployment, but it could have been better. Freaking here comes the Chucky V
Good old
With
Chucky V.
Terry Bradshaw and the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders on board the ship. Daggum Sailors are playing catch with Bradshaw, and the cheerleaders are cheering for him. And we've been stuck in shit for the last 4 months. And then they hit all these badass ports on the way.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Ports that we got canceled on. So, fuck the Chucky V, man.
Yeah, that literally sounds about right. I mean, whoever was in charge of our MWR program on board while I was there, man, she had all sorts of wonderful, amazing things planned. We had the Green Bay Packers come out as soon as like right after they won the Super Bowl. We had Wee Man. I think I've shown you pictures of that, Heath, haven't I? Yeah, Wee Man come out on board. Saving Abel, one of my favorite rock bands, come out, and I got to actually meet them. The lead singer at the time, he's no longer the lead singer with them, unfortunately, but he looked at my name tag. And he's just like, Norris, your middle name wouldn't happen to be Chuck, would it? And I'd be like, yeah, it is. He's like, I don't believe you. Show me some ID. So I pulled out my ID and I showed him. He's like, no fucking way. I just met Chuck Norris. It's like, great experiences. We had, I'm sorry, I don't really mean to rub it in, but I'm going to rub it in anyway. We had 2 Still Beach picnics on one of the deployments, including a beer day. Just like they really did take care of us on this carrier.
This beer day, how many days had it been since you hit port? 2 weeks?
No, it was like 40 to 50 days. I don't remember the exact number.
Dude, we got a beer day too on our second deployment because that's when the cold got hit.
Mm-hmm.
We did like 95 days straight. We got 1 beer day.
Wow.
And then they made it all late. They made it where we couldn't like get a beer from somebody that didn't want it. They were super tight on it, locked it down. So I had to get at the time, Heineken was the strongest one. So I got 2 of those. But yeah, fuck Chucky V, man. You guys we had people come on board, but it was always while we're in Port Everett. It wasn't ever where we were going anywhere.
Oh yeah, the amount of people who came on board was just absolutely fascinating. At one point, unfortunately, I wasn't there. I was on leave, and this was while we were at port. President Obama came on board, and that probably was a really cool situation. Although with the heightened security, probably glad I wasn't there. With the beer day, though, I don't remember them being that strict. I know they were kind of watching people, but I also know people who were about 5 or 6 beers deep by the time they finally left, the flight deck.
Right.
So
and this was like in 2000, man, before where people got weird with alcohol,
Yeah.
So I figured they wouldn't really care that much, as long as you don't get stupid.
They were more restrictive with the beer when we were in the sandbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they were watching you like a hawk.
They didn't give a shit. My LDO, the Mustang, sold beer a couple times in the sandbox. You're talking about Jabal Ali, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the sandbox. And our Mustang or Warrant dropped a whole case on a table of 4 people.
Shut up.
So they weren't super strict over there. As long as we were by the ship, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Man, that's cool though. That's a lot of experience in 6 years. What so you were a display tech, and I want to talk about after you got out, because I don't want to talk about your current job now. It's a really cool job. We'll get into it though. What kind of stuff? Also, you still deal with the VA, right? You did 6 years, but do you go through the VA?
I do go through the VA. So I am a classified disabled vet. And all my healthcare is handled by the VA and all that fun stuff. So and that's actually just recent. So I went through, when I first got out, I really didn't navigate those waters a whole lot. I went to the initial VA reviews that they set up for me, your mental health screening and your general health screening and things like that. And I just accepted whatever they, put me at and never questioned the status quo until this last year when I started doing some research and I started talking to the guy who cuts my hair. He's a vet, and he was telling me about some of the stuff that he's been going through. And I'm just like, wow, I've never even thought about it. So I got with my local VSO and talked with her a little bit. She initiated a review on all my stuff. And then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I'm going to all these appointments, meeting with all these people. And now I'm being taken care of for the things that I need taken care of, and I'm very thankful for that. And I regret not doing that stuff. And so I need to implore, if anybody who's active duty is currently listening to me and you're thinking about getting out soon or anything like that, you need to take that VA stuff seriously. Do not sideline it. Do not back burner it. Take it seriously, because it's there to help you for the things that you need help for.
A lot of people think VA is just for the people that retire. No,
No.
it's a veteran.
Everyone.
You're a veteran.
Anybody who has served for anything that may have caused you any type of bodily injury, physical or mental, anything like that, do not sit there and undersell yourself. You served, you deserve that help. That's what it's there for.
And without me getting too in your business, are you being compensated at all monetarily?
Correct. Yes, I am.
You are. So you're getting 6 years and you're getting VA compensation for the stuff that happened to you while you were in. See, I think that's important for everybody to know. It can happen.
It can. Yeah. Just because it never hurts to go through the review, because you don't really know until you go through the initial review or even a review later on. You don't know the kind of damage that you've gone through. They go through your service record. They will look through everything, and they will help. They do help. They're not out there to actually screw you, as much as many people would like to believe they do.
Right. No, they've gotten a lot better over the years.
They have. I've heard horror stories. I have heard the horror stories, and I'm not going to say that there aren't still current horror stories going on, but I've been very thankful for my process and the process of other people that I've talked to.
And I want to talk about other things depending on your percentage, right? You can, I don't know how you live in North Carolina, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so does Jay. Jay lives in North Carolina also.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, North Carolina boys. And so that can help you with like your house payment, your
it's a huge help. Yeah, it's that peace of mind. It helps with it. I know the mortgage is going to get paid every single month,
right.
No matter what's going to happen. I know that, again, my health is being taken care of. I know things are going to happen, and that's always that great peace of mind.
Yeah, because it's not go ahead, Jay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to ask, so how is your experience with the actual VA medical?
Medical side has been great, has been phenomenal. Now, getting the initial appointments once I qualified for VA healthcare, that was the pain in the ass. But now that I've gotten established with a primary care and all that stuff, everything has been so seamless. It's a wonderful team that I've been working here. I'll say it. I've been working out of the Wilmington location, so they've been absolutely amazing people to me. I'm not going to say so much about the mental health side of it. They have not been the greatest so far. That's all I'm going to say on that.
And I think that's still a struggle that we're dealing with as a society.
Yeah, my initial appointment, I don't want to go into too many details, but my initial appointment, the guy made me feel like I was some sort of jackass imposter. It's like, are you really suffering from this? Are you really suffering from this?
That's a different level of bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't realize this huge pill I'm taking for my anxiety every day was all fake. I'm sorry.
Right. I didn't know this was a Spanish Inquisition going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you got out, right? You got out, did 6 years. So what happened after that? You were married. Did you have any kids at the time?
No, we didn't have any kids until a couple of years after I got out. So after I got out, we let the ship was in San Diego. We left San Diego. Would have loved to have stayed, but it's a little expensive to live out there if the Navy's not paying for it.
Right.
Exactly.
So my wife's from DC originally, so we moved back there because that's where her family was and stuff like that. And
which is not much cheaper.
No, but we lived with family.
Right.
They helped us out a lot. I got into the restaurant business because I just didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
Right.
I knew as much as I enjoyed my job in the Navy and things like that, I just knew that wasn't what I wanted to do outside either. So I got into the restaurant business, started working for a local restaurant there called Glory Days Grill. And I loved it and everything. It's just after our first son was born, it kind of sucked because I was working these really long hours. I was there until 3 o'clock in the morning, or I was there at 8 a.m. till super late. I went 3 days without seeing my baby once, and I was just like, no, you can't do this anymore.
Right.
So I went. I finally got back into school. I decided I was going to get a business degree. worked through it, got my business degree through the University of Maryland, and went into being basically an office administrator for a couple of years. But then while I enjoyed that work, I didn't enjoy sitting in an office staring at computer screens with no windows. It just felt like I was dying. And that's how I ended up in the job that I'm in now.
Okay, let's talk about it, because what do you do now?
I am a ferry boat captain for
oh, you're still a sailor.
Still a sailor. I'm back on the water every single day that I work, whether I'm working as a mate or I'm working as a captain. I love it. It's just back and forth between Bald Head Island and Southport, and it's just absolutely a blast. Had this job. I'm going on 4 years here in 10 days. So 10 days will be my 4-year anniversary, and I love it. It's probably the best job I've ever had.
I remember when you became a captain. That wasn't, what, a year or two ago?
Yeah. So I got my license back in April of 2021.
Right. I remember that because we had already done a show together and you were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, you were just like a mate, a deckhand.
Sure Oops, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
My watch is talking to me.
Yeah, mine does it all the time. So you start out like from the bottom as a mate? Or?
Yeah. I literally started at the bottom as a mate, and I did that for a little while. And one of the captains needed to eat their dinner real quick, and they asked if I wanted to like drive the boat, of course, under their supervision and everything. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll drive the boat. This is awesome." Just as soon as I put my hands on that helm, I knew immediately that's what I wanted to do.
So was it? Office fans out there, was it like Dwight when he drove the boat?
No, nothing like that. Believe it or not, these newer catamarans actually, they'll still have the big wheel on them and everything like that, but you don't use it anymore.
Right.
We have a nice hydraulic system, and we use a joystick to actually turn the rudders and everything like that. So it's not sitting at a wheel or anything like that. It's just hand on a joystick, hand on the throttle.
I thought it might have been like Dwight on the wheel, and the dude is actually controlling it up top.
Oh yeah, no, nothing like that. At least not on our boats, nothing like that.
Nothing he knows of. So
yeah, he knows of. Yeah.
So after that, man, you were hooked, huh?
Oh yeah. So I've been working so hard towards that. I had to put in all my time. I could have gone through the effort of trying to get all my sea time in the Navy to count towards my sea time there, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start over from the beginning, start fresh. So I had to do my time. You have to do a certain amount of days out on the water, working in a certain job. And then you have to go to a couple of schools. I had to go to, my first school was called an OUPV 6-pack, operator of an unspected personal vehicle or a vessel. And then I had to do a 100-ton upgrade because all of our vessels in the fleet are anywhere between 50 and 100 tons. So you have to have a license that is higher than the vessel that you are planning on operating if you're going to carry customers or passengers. So since all of ours fall between that 50 to 100 range, I have to have that 100-ton license. They do have a 50-ton license, but it had to get to 100.
You would only be able to operate certain vessels if you only got the 50-ton.
Correct. And just like now I'm working towards my 200-ton license, which would open up my opportunities a little bit more. I can start working on getting on like tugboats and things like that. So it's definitely a lot of fun to see how you can grow in the maritime industry, all the different things you can do. I just went to a radar school down in Charleston, a radar observer school, and it's taught by a former a Navy vet, a former FC actually. Really? And he's starting to teach the class, and I'm staring at it, and I'm staring at the material, I'm staring at it. And finally at the lunch break, I kind of go up to him. The guy's name was Frank. I was like, Frank, I've taken this class before. He's like, what do you mean you've taken this class before? It's like, I've taken this class before. He's like, if you've taken this class, then why are you here? It's like, no. I haven't taken this like here. This is literally a class they taught us in the Navy. This is radar class. And he goes, yeah, it really is. I was like, and he didn't know I was an FC at the time.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I took this class in the Navy. It was part of my FC schooling. He's like, you were an FC? I was like, yeah. It's like, so was I. it was absolutely bizarre. It was like taking a refresher course, but it was so much fun because I actually knew what the hell I was doing.
Right.
I was actually helping to teach the class. He was in the simulator room with some students. I'm up at the whiteboard trying to go over plotting and charting with everybody. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. And I think you made the right call, though, not getting your sea time in the Navy to count towards your civilian maritime stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And as a FC3, FC2, did you get out as an FC2 or FC3?
FC2.
FC2.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really do a lot of OD watches.
No.
You stand a lot of CIC watches at a display guy, I'm sure. But it's
yes,
not the same,
or in CSMC, but yeah.
Yeah, CSMC, right? Or did you stand it in CIC with the CIC watch officer and all that?
Every once in a while. I didn't get to do it all the time, but I was qualified.
Right. So it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you probably made the right call.
And y'all know this. Y'all know civilians watch this show too, right? Nobody knows what the hell y'all just said.
That's okay.
Everything y'all said was Spanish. Everything. I thought I was
just all right.
watching Telemundo.
For the civilian people out there, just know that very qualified people stood watches. And watches means we stood there and we made sure shit happened.
Or didn't happen.
Or didn't happen.
Yeah. So a CIC is a Combat Interception Center or Combat Information Center. I'm sorry. And so we're their eyes via the radar. The officer deck is the eyes via their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So we guided the ship via radar. The OD guided it via their visual. So I stood CIC watch officer.
Yeah.
So we were the radar for the OOD, for the officer deck, who's on the bridge looking out at the windows. We don't have windows in CIC. So basically we use radar. So we see a ship on the radar. We let the OD know and make sure we don't crash into the ship or the land or whatever it is.
Or make sure we don't need to engage said ship.
Or, make sure we don't blow their ass out of the water. Whatever.
See, I didn't know that shit. I wasn't talking about everybody else. I was really talking about myself.
Well, you hit it well, Jason. I thought you did 2 weeks on the ship. I figured you knew. I apologize.
No, I knew, like you said, where the gym was at, where my rack was at, and where the hell Chow was at. That's all I need to know. I came in at night. I left at night. So they didn't really know what they didn't even know. I don't even remember seeing that many Navy people because it was at night all the time.
I got some questions for you, Jay.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
So where the hell you been dropped off at by the Navy?
Yeah, I can't say that, but
I'm about to say, can you answer that question?
I can't really answer that question.
Can you at least tell me what part of the world it was in? Was it in Asia? Was it in Europe? Was it Omaha Beach? You're not that old.
I'm not that damn old. One was Asia. One was the Asia, and the second one, it was I was out there. Really can't display that one, but yeah.
I'm gonna tell you about the Marines, man. They were so bad on the amphib. They had to give them hours. Like, this is the hours you can use a gym because they would just use it
all of it. Everybody, every single person was in there.
I'm so glad I was a chief, so I had Chief's mess. I have to wait in line because I'm glad because these 6 and below were sucking, man. Because a Marine, they see like somebody standing like they're in line, they're gonna start a line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's a line for something. They're gonna get
it's a line for something. They're gonna get into the shit and make it.
That dude could be waiting to take a piss. Where there's gonna be 20 Marines behind him waiting to take a piss.
And we PO command, so we gotta go. We might as well just try it now.
That's awesome, man. You've had a cool career, and I think it's cool that you're still in the nautical field.
And I was kind of nervous about going back into it, but I mean, obviously there's a difference between, living and running a warship and, ferrying 150 passengers, like 25 minutes. But, it's just a lot of fun. There's just something about being out on the water. It's calming, it's soothing. I feel at home out there, and I just never knew that I truly felt that way until I had left the Navy, done some other things for a while, and then gone back to the water and realized, this is where I belong. This is what I love to do. Be out there doing that.
And what time is y'all's first trip and what time is y'all's last trip? Y'all go pretty early in the morning?
It depends. Depends on the day. We can start as early as 5:30 in the morning, and we could go as late as 1 a.m.
Oh, wow. So you do get a lot of
Oh
nighttime
wow.
traveling.
Oh yeah, a lot of nighttime driving. So thank God for that radar training.
Definitely. What's the sea lanes like? Busy sea lanes, busy lanes?
It's a very busy. It's a very busy traffic area. Wilmington is one of the busiest ports in North Carolina. So we have to deal with the shipping lanes all the time, and they just expanded that state port as well. So we're getting a lot of those bigger cargo ships in. So having to deal with them, and of course the Pilots Association things, they run the river, so having to deal with them as well. So, it's also big for your pleasure crafts. So on a nice day, all the sailboats are going to be out there, and you've got to remember who's got right of way and who's on the hierarchy of who can do what, where, when, how. Just because I'm a motor vessel carrying 150 passengers doesn't mean I have the right of way of the channel. Neither does it mean that a shipping container technically has the right of way. It all depends on the situation, and just trying to remember all those rules. The Coast Guard does a very good job in making sure that they drill those rules into your head when you go for your licensure. And of course, I always have on my phone the rules. It's called the rules of the road, basically. I have the rule.
I had to study that.
Yeah. I have that access on my phone at all times. If I have a question, there's always a physical copy on all of our books. If we ever have to reference something or question something, I might stare at something and they have some weird lights happening on their mast, and I'm just like, oh, what the fuck is that? I don't remember that. Give me the. I'm like, I turned to one of the mates. Hey, give me the book. I need to look at this light real quick. Oh, that's a tug pulling 200 meters worth of crap behind them. Okay, I need to veer this way.
Don't want to hit him.
No. We don't need to be having any type of incidents out there.
That's awesome, man. But yeah, that's great, and I'm glad that I see a success story out of the Navy. And honestly, man, it's good that you talked about the VA, because honestly, you're one of the first people that I know that didn't retire that's using the VA.
It's bizarre to me, quite honestly. Like, it's bizarre to me that I went so long without ever truly utilizing it the way I needed to. But I put blame on the Navy for that one, or any armed force branch, because they did not push me to go understand this. They just told me to show up to these appointments. I did. I never questioned the results of them, and I had to live with that for almost I had to live with that for almost 10 years before I ever started questioning that. I feel like I got screwed out of something. So I just implore you, they're not going to push you to go find out these things on your own or go do these things for your own. So the biggest advocate you're going to have on your side during a transition period is a local veteran services officer. They are going to be your biggest advocate. They're going to know how to do everything, how to navigate the system, all that. I know there's like these legal companies out there that are, say, oh, we will get you this and we will make sure of that. Guys, that's for people who are out trying to get it for the wrong reason, in my opinion. Right. I'm sorry. Unless the VA, they do serve a purpose. Like when the VA purposely does something that is not good or not right, then that group serves a purpose. But if you're just using them to just try to find money, that's wrong, guys. Use your VSO officer. They are going to do you honestly. I promise you. The increase I got in mine was way more than I even anticipated it was going to be. But that's because they dug through my entire file, my entire medical record, my entire service record, and they found the things that I should have been taken care of for and were not.
Definitely. And I'm going to speak for me, and let Jay, I'm going to speak for you because we're both retired. So big thing with me was I had a retired SWCC Master Chief, a Senior Chief SWCC Master Chief, and LDO Lieutenant, a doc type, kept talking to me about it and telling me how to do it because they had already done it or they were going through it at the time. And then I got with the VSO. So it took all those three. But if it wasn't for those three people and then me wanting to get it, I was good with this not getting it.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, screw it. Screw it. But it wasn't that hard. I'd started 6 months prior to retiring and I got 100%.
That's awesome.
So it's because because it's your due it. It's due to you. You served your time, and that's what you get for serving your time. If you had unfortunate incidents that made you need that help, that was my story. And Jay, what about you? What got you on?
So I want to say it's the Navy. I'm not going to say it's the Armed Forces because I went to Dallas for an Atlanta Dallas football game, and a guy was he's retired Army, and I was having breakfast with my buddy because my neighbor because we went to the game, and we was just sitting there talking. Both of us had Georgia shirts on and everything, so we started talking about that. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm retired Army." I said, "Yeah, I'm about to retire. I'm thinking about retiring and putting my stuff in." He was like, "Listen, I'm telling you now, do not go to any other services TAPS class but Army." I was like, "Why?" He was like, "I'm telling you, just go to the Army and you will see." I went to the Army TAP class and it was the most informative. When I got out the Marines, it was not this informative. Mm-hmm. Getting out of the Navy and going through the Army's TAP class was phenomenal. Like we had, we paired up and did interviews and resumes. You had to bring your resume in. They looked over every single bit and they redid almost everybody's resume right then and there. And then we did simulations of going through interviews and things like that. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. And every day, you had to dress every day like you was going to an interview. That's the way you had to come into the class. If you didn't come into the class like that, one guy came in jeans. He told the dude to go back and change.
Nice.
So but nobody ever pushed me in the Navy of go do this, go see this, go do that, go do this, go do that. So that conversation probably was like 45 minutes to an hour with that retired Army guy. Mm-hmm. Him telling me what I needed to do because he had 100%. And he was like, nobody goes to the TAP class and actually pays attention. He said, pay attention to exactly what they're telling you. So doing that and then doing my skill bridge, putting in my package like he said 6 months beforehand, and I got my 100% right out the gate when I did it. So I was awesome. I was good with it. And my VSO, he dug. My VSO. He dug deep. Deep. And I've gotten a lot of business because I had a buddy that was retiring. He was trying to go through another company and they wasn't getting them any service. I sent him to him and he got 100%. I have one of my friends, she's about to retire. I gave it her the same thing and she's going through all her stuff. So VSO is the best way to go. And like you were saying, if you get out, it don't matter how long you serve. You serve 4 years, you serve 5, 20, doesn't matter. You still served your country.
Honorably discharged.
Yes, honorably discharged. You served your country and you deserve to get paid. I didn't join the Navy to serve my country. I was a Navy recruiter. I tell everybody when they come into the office, actually tell me what you're here for. Don't give me the BS. I can tell you now, everybody in this office, nobody came in to serve their country. They came in to do selfish shit. They came in to get out their situation or whatever like that. So you did that. The Navy helped you do that, but at the same time, they took you to do some shit. So, or the military took you to do some shit. Mentally, physically, emotionally, go get that money.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because, I just, and that's bad on me. I assumed, I knew the Navy was bad about not pushing people to do the right things as they're getting out and stuff like that. I just assumed every branch did it. I'm glad to hear that the Army at least has their shit together.
Oh, no, the Army has this shit all the way together.
That's awesome.
All the way. I'm telling you. If anybody is in the North Carolina area, I went down to Fayetteville and it was a great experience. So if you're in the North Carolina area and you're about to get out, go down there and get that done.
And I'm going to tell you something this Master Chief told me that really saved me a lot of time. He was like the VSO where I was at in my area, which was a great guy. He took care of me, but he wanted, so he needed the whole record, but broken up in like 5 meg files, which is not much when you've been in 26 years. So I took my medical record, I took everything and gave it to Office Depot, and I wanted a copy. Mm-hmm. It cost me $130 or whatever, but it was worth every penny. And then I took every paper and I kind of guessed where 5 megs was. And I saved it all to disk or to a thumb drive, or actually it was a Navy. I saved it to disk and gave it to him because at first he didn't tell me that over the internet when I talked to him. he told me that when I was in there for my appointment. So if I would have done that, it'd have been all a wash. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if that's every VSO, but I know the VSO I went to, it was 5 meg files. So I guess for uploading, it has to be 5 meg or it takes forever.
I get, yeah. I'm trying to think. My VSO didn't ask for like electronic files. I mean, I had to sign a power of attorney and everything like that. They were able to access a lot of it that was already online. But any supplementary stuff she needed, like you said, I took my stuff over to Staples, had an entire copy made of all my records, and that way I'm just like, whatever she needs, I'll just pull from the copy and I'll keep the original in my file at home.
Right, exactly.
And I've even, like, when I go to appointments and stuff like that, and they need supporting records that they may not have access to quite yet, I showed up to my very first primary care appointment when I finally got in with the VA healthcare with papers in hand, and she literally said, "Well, I'm still waiting on some of your medical record stuff to come through." I was like, "Oh, what are you waiting on?" Blah 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 blah. Here you go. Here you go. Nice. Here you go. You know, just trying to make life easier on everybody. So yeah, always have copies ready.
Definitely.
I had a mine already because I had just moved from Ohio to North Carolina in 2019. I just retired last year, and I had to bring my medical record because I have MS. So I had to bring my medical record here for my new neurologist and everything like that. So I had all that stuff already. And then my neurologist had all of my scans and all that stuff. So my stuff was, I can say now, I probably had, when I tell people my story of all the stuff that I had to do, they're like, "That's it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it really wasn't. It wasn't that hard for me. Like it was."
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No, it really wasn't. I think that's what deters people, because we always remember the bad things we hear about something, the bad experiences. We're not going to hear. There's a lot more good experiences out there than there are bad experiences, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but we hear and remember the bad. You know, and I think that's what deters a lot of people from doing this. Take it from us, guys. If you're going to listen to us, anything we're saying during this episode, the three of us know it's really not that bad. It's a pretty simple process if you're willing to commit just a little bit of time to it. Yep. And be prepared to go make. I hope everybody has kept copies of their records. Be prepared to make copies of your records. Be prepared to answer those questions that they may not have access to right away. But they are going to make it as seamless as they can. After the first initial few appointments and stuff like that, my communication with my VSO, I'm still in communication with her, but I don't need to be in constant communication with her anymore. She's doing everything I need her to do, and I'm doing everything I need to do. And together we're working as a team to accomplish things, and it takes little effort on either of our parts now. And it's simple, guys. Do it.
Just make it happen. Just make it happen.
Yeah. Just
don't be afraid.
Put a little bit of time. Put a little bit of time.
A little bit of time.
All right. Jay has some questions for you, though. Chuck.
Go ahead, Jay.
He had some movies. He needs to know your opinion on them.
So, oh my gosh.
Let me go into my Netflix.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No, it's no pressure. No, it's pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Just let you know.
I just popped my anxiety pill before this thing. All right, good. Let's do this.
I forgot to tell you. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
So how big of a Netflix person are you?
Honestly, not that big. I have watched some Netflix movies. I mainly am more into the shows like Stranger Things and whatnot. I'll try my hardest to help you out on some Netflix movies. I'm going to be 100% honest. I probably won't have the answers you're looking for.
I'm not an aficionado like Chuck, but I have watched some Netflix movies too. So maybe I can help you out too.
So it's a movie called, I just watched this. So I just want to know if y'all have seen it and what your opinion on it is. It's a movie. It's a show called Who Were We Running From?
I heard of it. I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it.
Watch it. It is great. But mother and daughter team is it a movie
good. Or a series?
It's a series.
It's a series.
Okay.
So that series is. I watch a lot of series on.
Yeah, I do too.
So it's another movie called Echoes. A show called Echoes.
No, that's good. I like Echoes.
I haven't seen that one. No.
Okay.
I like Echoes.
Okay.
I feel like I need to be writing this down.
You still haven't watched Frailty, Chuck. So don't patronize us.
It's like I'm not doing it. The Mother.
No,
Okay, so I've seen parts of this. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. But it's been very enjoyable what I have watched so
it's
far.
a good show.
It's a good movie.
The one with J-Lo, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, she's
great.
pretty badass.
Yeah, she's a straight up killer.
Yeah, pretty much. It's other ones, but I know you're not going to watch them, so not really.
No,
Is
go
it
ahead.
more-
Maybe I saw
No,
it.
neither one of y'all have seen these movies.
Is it romance?
Yes, so that's why.
Oh, okay. No, then I'm not going to see it.
That's why I was like, no, not that one. No. And I watch a lot of cooking shows on there too. So I'm watching Barbecue Wars right now. So.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Oh, Barbecue Showdown. It's called Barbecue Showdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have not watched Barbecue Showdown, go to the first season. This is their second season right now. They just started the second season, I think last week. But the first season was amazing. If you like that type of stuff, I'm a barbecue smoker type of person, so those type of shows really do it for me. But the second season is better than the first season.
Oh,
I tell you
okay.
now. And I'm only
Let's
on
start with the first season.
I'm only on episode 4 right now, and this is really. It's kind of emotional. Like the people that's on it, like you get attached to them real quick. You're like, what the hell? You got kicked off? How the hell you get kicked off? It's some bullshit. So, but yeah, that show. So those things. But what would be your recommendation for a good movie to sit down and watch or binge watch show or movie on a Saturday where you don't feel like doing shit?
That's tough. On Netflix, my family and I have gotten into The Floor is Lava. Have you all seen that one?
No, I haven't seen
Never
that one.
heard of it.
It's a game show style. So basically, it takes the
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah,
the game that you used to play as a kid, The Floor is Lava, and they've
Are you
upped the ante.
serious?
Yeah.
I
So
never saw
basically,
it on Netflix.
these groups of people have to make their way across a room without falling into the lava. It's just orange water, but it's so much fun to watch because you start rooting for these people. It's really a lot of fun. My kids start playing Floors Lava because that's how much they enjoy watching it. That is on Netflix. I think there's 3 seasons out.
Seasons.
I watched that one on regular TV before it came out on Netflix. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
I just put it in my favorites.
Nice. Is It Cake is another one that we've been watching.
Jamie loves it.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I get stumped almost every single. It's cake, but it's not cake, and I'm just like, geez, these people are masters at what they do. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But as far as like an actual TV show, Succession on
I haven't seen that
HBO.
one yet.
It
just aired its finale. So it's done.
That's the one with that Indian actress, right?
No.
No, I'm thinking about something else.
No. This one has Brian Cox in it. One of the Culkin brothers, I think like Kieran or something like that, and a couple other names and stuff like. Fantastic show. I highly recommend it.
So say that again for everybody so they can hear it.
Succession. It is on it's on HBO. Well, it's called Max now, but HBO Max.
It used to be HBO Max until like a week ago.
Yeah, and then they changed it to Max.
Max,
whatever. Yeah. Let's see what else. I'm also I'm a fan of the classics. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot on my on our show when y'all listen to it. I tend to rewatch things because I'm a huge fan of the classics. So I'm always going to recommend Dexter, and the only reason I say Dexter is because of that new season that came out a couple of years ago. The 9th season. It made up for that shitty ass 8th season that they tried to give us. But it's an absolutely I highly recommend that. Oh, The Last of Us. Have y'all watched that?
Yes.
Watch it all. It is.
Yes.
We have to wait 2 more years for the next season, and I'm very upset about this.
Very highly upset.
Great show. It was riveting from beginning to every episode. I was wholly invested in. It was absolutely phenomenal.
It's like I try to say I'm gonna go to sleep after this episode, and then at the end that's the shit. I'm like,
you
what
can't.
the fuck?
You can't because they leave you on a cliffhanger.
Yes,
and you have to know.
Bitch. Now I got to stay up to try to
And they,
figure out what
and
the
they
hell's
leave you
going
on another cliffhanger.
Yes,
they're like-
it's a never-ending cycle of
To the
freaking
point, just-
cliffhangers.
Right, you're like, you know what? Fuck it, I have to go to sleep. I have to. So just
But-
turn the shit off when you're thinking about it.
But Chuck, no shit, man. You're the reason. I'd never seen Dexter until I started listening to your show. You're the
Nice.
reason I watched Dexter from season 1 all the way to the last season 9 that came out a couple years ago. You're
So
the
I gotta-
reason I did it, and I was not disappointed.
So I need to watch Dexter. I never watched Dexter.
Oh yes, you
gotta
need
watch
to
that.
watch. It is fantastic. Great premise. And the first 6 seasons are absolutely phenomenal. The fourth one is the best one. I'm not going to ruin that one for you. Fourth one was the best one, but like in season 7 and 8, they were trying to wind it down, and they just weren't doing a good job winding it down. And then when they gave us that finale in 8. Every fan just sat. It's kind of like the Game of Thrones fans. Everybody sat there and like, that's it? That's what you gave us? That's the ending? I don't fucking think so. So,
But
fast forward to 2 years ago, they gave us the final season of Dexter we deserved, and it was
Chuck, though, man,
phenomenal.
Chuck, but really though,
What's up?
What the last season 8? I almost thought, it was a disappointment, but it was almost genius because everybody watched season 9.
Oh yeah, because we all wanted the closure. We all wanted the proper closure.
I'm still not closed yet, bro.
Oh, dude, I still at the end of the season 9 finale, I just kind of sat there. I sat there and I'm like, I like this better than the last ending, but I don't want this to be the ending either.
Maybe that's what it is, man. I just don't want it to be over.
I don't want it to be over either. I really don't. But you know what? Some things have just got to they got to stop.
Sure. Yeah.
That season of Dexter was just enough to give fans the closure that they needed, whether you accept it or not. And I think it was enough. They don't have to keep rehashing the story.
Right.
That's the problem with a lot of these revivals. Sorry, I'm about to get on a soapbox here, guys. I don't know if y'all are prepared for this.
Hey, get on the soapbox. Shit, go do what you got to do.
That is the problem with these television revivals that they're doing all of a sudden, reviving these not old TV shows, but TV shows that were popular in like the 90s and the 2000s and stuff like that. They think they have more stories to tell, and it's not always true. You can leave things well enough alone where they were. I watched some of these revivals, and I was just like,
I can tell you one that is the worst one of all time.
what's that?
Quantum Leap.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Quantum Leap is
Absolutely.
the worst. I am a huge Quantum Leap fan. And the new show, I was like, oh shit. And it was, I think I might have watched 3 episodes and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I can't do this shit.
No, there's some things you just need to leave alone. But then there are some things that are brilliant that you wonder what took them so long to get there. I know not a lot of people are a fan of this. I thought the Picard show was absolutely wonderful. It was a great continuation of the Star Trek Next Generation idea.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
The first season's a little slow, so I will say that if you do want to dive into it, you have to give that first season a chance because it's building. It's character building, it's reminding you about everything. It's kind of helping you jump in where because there's this huge time gap between Next Generation, the last movie they did, and then this. So you're kind of getting caught up, but then by the end of the first season, it really takes off. It's only 3 seasons long, so
I'm gonna watch it. I didn't want to watch it because I was like, I don't want to ruin it.
It's nostalgia done right, in my opinion. So I think they did a good job with this one, but not every show needs to be revived. I've heard of these really crazy revival ideas that didn't pan out, and I'm very thankful for that. And then some of the ones that did pan out, you just begin to question, did we really need that? Like Murphy Brown. Do you remember Murphy Brown?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember when
They did a revival season of it. I watched 2 episodes of it, and I was like, this is not applicable in today's world. Why are we doing this?
They're doing it with Night Court.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Night Court. I love Night Court. I grew up watching Night Court. Night Court is a great show. I don't know, and I've thought about it. I don't know if I can sit down and watch it because I don't want the original ruined for me.
Right. Don't do it. Do
Okay,
Yeah, I
not.
heard
don't
it.
do
I
it.
heard it. I heard
Okay.
it was bad. I haven't
Okay,
seen it yet.
don't do
I
it.
heard
I tried it because I was a Night Court fan. I tried it. It's not the same. It's Dan being drunk, an alcoholic. It's like it's bad.
Okay.
It's bad.
Then okay, thank you. So now I'm going to spare myself that. I can't. I
But
don't want Judge Harry ruined for me. None of that stuff. No.
no, it's his daughter, and he's passed away, and that's sad at the beginning, and then it keeps getting sad every episode when they
No.
they
Oh,
still
God,
talk about it. Like it's not funny. But MacGyver, if you have a chance, the remake of MacGyver was great. The TV show MacGyver was great.
Okay, I did actually want to see that because I saw some episodes of it, or not episodes. I saw some previews of it. And it looked good.
It is great. I watched it. I hated the last season because it ended, and I didn't want it to end, and I don't see a reason of why it ended. I have no. There's no. To me, there's no reason for it to end.
Yeah,
it was a good show. It was going great, and then it just didn't get you can't reschedule, so they ended it. But they did give us a last episode, but it's still MacGyver was still good, and the mystery in it and everything, like it was awesome. It was.
That's good to know. I think that one's on Paramount, right?
I think it came on NBC. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'll have to look on Peacock for that one.
Right.
There was there was another one I wanted to make mention. Roseanne. Okay.
Yeah.
When they revived Roseanne,
Without
then
Roseanne?
right before her big controversy.
Right.
I watched a couple of episodes of that, and I knew immediately that I'm actually surprised it's still on the air. I knew immediately it was never going to be what it was. They were trying to recapture something that
too hard
can't be recaptured anymore. And the fact that it's still on the air as The Connors kind of just baffles me. I think ABC's kind of doing it in spite of Roseanne. I have no idea.
That's exactly why they're doing it. There's no reason for that show to still be on.
Right.
At all. There's no reason.
I got a question though. Do you think some of these shows are different now than they were back in the day? Just different content? Is that why they're not as good?
I think it's because.
Is it because I'm gonna be political? Do you think it's because America's kind of woke now and everybody got to watch what they say?
That could very well be it. The kind of thing. Taking Roseanne as an example here, a lot of the stuff that they talked about on that show, you can't really get away with talking about that kind of stuff anymore.
Right.
In today's world. It's very difficult. And yeah, so they're trying to make something that worked then work now. And some of it's not translating very well.
I'm gonna take you back to some shows that were popular back in the day.
Okay.
Archie Bunker.
Okay, I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah, we can't even do that anymore.
What about George Jefferson on the other side?
Yes.
That was a funny ass show. Sanford and Son.
Yes.
Nope, can't do that anymore.
Hell no.
That shit, people watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cried. But nobody cried.
You know why? Because
nobody cared.
They were too busy laughing.
Yes.
That's the thing about comedy. And that's exactly it. One, comedy is supposed to laugh at real life. If you can't laugh at life, then what is the point?
Exactly.
Comedy is supposed to sit there and take the delicacies and the horrors and the just inappropriateness of life and just bring a little levity to it, make it bearable, make it palatable. And that's what shows like All in the Family, the Jeffersons and Sanford and Son. Those are those types of shows that could just laugh at humanity. Is like, why do we Blazing Saddles, the movie, laughing. I mean, it's just full of racism and all of that, all that fun stuff, but it doesn't, it's comedic. It's funny.
It is.
And if you can't take it seriously, if you're taking it seriously, you're missing the point. Basically, you're the person being laughed at if you're taking it seriously.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The funniest part about Blazing Saddles when he goes, "Let me whip this out for you," and everybody's like, "Ah!" Dude, that shit was funny, man. I mean, it's funny.
You've got to understand that these are all shows. It's all make believe. It isn't exactly supposed to be,
real life.
Here's a snapshot of real life. But hey, we've got to take these horrors that we went through as a society and just kind of we can learn from them, we can grow from them, but we don't have to sit there and be afraid of them either. One of the biggest lessons my wife had to learn, I'm going to throw her under the bus here, is when we went and saw Django Unchained. Fantastic movie. I just rewatched it the other day. The only movie that I'll ever approve of for Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, you hate Leo, by the way.
I hate Leo, but I loved him in this movie. That was the best. Anyway,
yeah, he was great.
She was having a difficult time laughing at some of the racial things happening in the movie, and I just had to explain to her, I was like, "Hun, there's nothing wrong with laughing. It does not make you racist. It makes you understand the humor behind everything," and that's what Quentin Tarantino was trying to accomplish. He wants you to understand, that. And if you can't laugh, if you're uncomfortable laughing at it, then I can't help you, but you shouldn't ever be uncomfortable laughing at it. But unfortunately, we do live in that society now where we can't broach these subjects. We can't make Dave Chappelle, his show couldn't be on the air nowadays. And I was just rewatching that show the other day. Absolutely wonderful. He was amazing. He was ahead of his time.
Very much so.
Sorry.
He was amazing. Go ahead.
This is why I like Kevin Hart. Because Kevin Hart tells his story of him growing up and the dumb shit that he's done and things like that. And he makes it to be like he got over it. And when he goes back to think about it, that shit was funny as hell.
Yeah.
Like he thinks about that shit like that shit was funny. I should tell about that. I should tell about my damn dad coming inside the damn spelling bee with no drawers on and some damn sweatpants, dick swinging every goddamn where, damn yelling at me and shit. Like that's life.
Even Kevin Hart, man, he caught shit for the Oscars that year because he talked about gay people in a time when everybody was doing it, but all of a sudden they were going zero on Kevin Hart.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit. It's a bit.
But because somebody got uncomfortable, let's cancel him.
Yes. The cancel culture these days is ridiculous.
That's what that's what art is supposed to do. Whether you're talking about TV shows, movies, music, literal paintings, it's supposed to challenge the status quo. It's supposed to challenge your way of thinking. And it's supposed to bring you out of that level of comfortability. Imagine if you only watched or looked at stuff that made you comfortable. Your life would be boring as fucking shit.
You're right.
But if you sat there and you gave yourself the opportunity to expand your horizons, taken out of that comfort zone, push those boundaries, you're going to understand that there's really no reason for us to be upset or, offended by every little thing. It's okay. It's okay.
It's all right.
Sorry, I'm probably already being canceled right now. I can already see the Twitter hashtags happening.
Hey, grumpy old Vincent, we're done, dude. Thanks, Chuck.
That should have been because at the end of the show, we usually put the person up on the screen, let them say their little last goodbyes or whatever they feel like. That right there should have been the end all of end all because I believe that shit. Like, so I have a relationship podcast.
Okay.
And it's the same show, but it's called Game Recognized Game. And then I have Game Recognized Game, the after show. So during the after show, I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I give two shits, and I tell people I break man law. I'm going to. If you want to cancel me now. If you don't want to listen to the show, don't listen to the show. But do not come at me and say dumb shit because I'm going to tell it like it really is. We need shows and people that are actually going to be able to have the balls to say the shit that everybody. Bernie Mac was fucking the definition of uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
He was the definition of making motherfuckers uncomfortable and not giving a shit. He would go to a all-white club and still tell the same fucking jokes that he's going to tell at the all-black clubs. And he gave two shits if you thought it was racist, if you laughed about the shit. He used the N-word. He did not care where he was at. He was still going to be him. And that's what I love about Bernie Mac. And that's why he's a damn legend. Because he didn't give a shit. Damn Red Fox. Red Fox didn't give a shit. Richard Pryor didn't give a shit.
Nope.
Eddie Murphy at first didn't give a shit, and then he got famous and he started giving a shit.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So those are the people.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby at first,
Didn't give a shit.
at first, Bill Cosby didn't give a shit. Like
No, he really didn't give a shit. He'd give you a roofie. He wouldn't give a
yeah, he really didn't give a shit. Well, it was nice seeing y'all. I guess it's the last episode. He just got us canceled, so we're kind of done now.
Thank God it wasn't my fault.
I figure we're going down. We might as well just keep going, dude.
Shit,
Seriously.
we'll be on again next month, still talking the same shit. We don't care if y'all listen or not.
You know what? I had some questions for Chuck that I've always wanted to ask you, man.
Go ahead.
All right, so you and Ruff, your co-host on the show,
Yeah,
is your older brother.
he
He's
is.
like 4 or 5 years older
4.
than you. 4 years older than you.
Mhm.
All right, how did he get on the show? Because he used to be just Chuck.
All right, so like I said, back in early 2020, when I was developing the show, the whole thing was actually developed based off of mine and his interactions. I was just so blindsided by the fact that, not blindsided, I was blind to the fact that while I was developing the show with him, I never actually offered to include him in it. Now, he was my first guest on the first several episodes, actually, before I started branching out to other guests.
That was mighty nice of you.
Yeah. Then finally, it dawned on me somewhere towards the end of the second season. I was like, man.
The second season?
Yeah, I know. I know I'm an asshole, okay?
Dude, I'd never heard of Ruff for
2
a while.
seasons. He did 2 seasons. His brother sitting there like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah,
This is our shit. This is our shit.
I finally was like, man, because I'm listening to all these other podcasts. I've made a lot of great friends in in this whole world and stuff like that, listening to their podcasts, and it's always the same hosts in every single episode, and like whether they have a guest or not. I was like, I need something like that. It's not just me and a guest every single episode. I want that camaraderie. I want that rapport with somebody. I want something that is sustainable, something that everybody knows they can expect every episode, whether I have a guest or not. And then that's when it dawned on me. I'm like, I bet my brother would like to join this full time. So I offered it to him, and of course he jumped on the opportunity. And so in the season 3, he joined the show full time, and that's where it went from being Chuck goes to the movies to Chuck and Ruff go to the movies. So yeah,
it's a good dynamic, Chuck, because you guys have different taste in movies.
Oh, absolutely. We'll agree every once in a while on a movie, but it's very strange that we 100% agree on a movie. So I love that dynamic, because then it's him trying to sell the movie to me, or me trying to sell the movie to him, and it's a lot of fun.
It's funny when at the end they rate a movie, right?
Yeah.
And there's many times where you'll give a 10, he'll give a 7, or vice versa, because it's not your cup of tea or his cup of tea on what you're reviewing. And I think that's a great part, because you do see the contrast in y'all's taste, even though you guys both know the movie when you're reviewing it, you both watched it and did your due diligence, but you can tell whose movie it is.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good though. But it's good. It's good to have that.
And you'll hear it in the energy. Like if it's a movie I'm really excited to talk about, I tend to hog the show and I won't let him talk very much. If it's a movie he's excited to talk about, I'm usually like, no, this is your show, buddy. You start talking.
You want to review this crap?
Review
this crap.
You do. I'm just. In fact, do you want me to just go ahead and log off? I'll do all the editing later. You know. But no, it's fun, because one of the things that I like to say is art is subjective, no matter what it is. Art is in the eye of the beholder. So I'm going to watch a movie. I'm going to use an example. I can't use Tombstone because we all liked it. I'll use the example.
I got one for you.
Go.
It's the one, California. It's the one with Natalie Portman and the guy from Scrubs.
Oh, Garden State.
Garden State, yeah.
Okay, so Garden State. Yeah. This one threw me for a loop.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
This one threw me for a loop. So I fought Robert on this one for a long time. I did not want to talk about this movie. I did not want to watch this movie. I wanted to have nothing to do with this movie, but finally caved, and we decided to talk about it. I sat down, I watched this movie, and I was honestly pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed the movie. I think it's one of Natalie Portman's best acting
It is. She's good
performances
at
in her career, quite honestly. But he had to sell me on it, and he's even spent I was still on the fence about it when we went to go talk about it officially during the recording, and he had to really kind of sell me on it. And by the end of it, I had completely changed my mind about the movie. I was ready to just be like, nah, it's blah, let's move on with life, to where I finally understood it from his perspective and why it would be, the great movie in his eyes that it was. And that goes back to my point. Art is in the eye of the beholder. We're each going to see something a little bit different, and we're all going to have a different experience from the watching movies or TV shows or looking at pictures and stuff like that. We're all going to be stimulated differently, emotionally, intellectually, all that fun stuff. And that's why we like to talk about it. We like to sit there and talk about these movies because we're going to have those differing perspectives. Another example is the Dumb and Dumber episode that I did, where it was me. Robert joined us on that one, didn't he? I can't remember. But Porcelain Peak is another podcast that I'm really great friends with. That's a host of 3 people, John, Tone, and Anthony. They came on. They talked about Dumb and Dumber. I fucking hate that movie. Absolutely despise that movie. And even to this day, I don't like that movie. And they were not able to convince me properly. But it was such a fun show to talk about talk about that movie because they're sitting there defending it wholeheartedly, and I'm just knocking each one of their reasons out of the park. But art, that's what's great about talking about movies. That's what's great about talking about anything that, again, challenges us, makes us think, pulls us outside of our comfort zones. So going to really wrap up that conversation on being woke is probably one of the worst things that's kind of happened to us as a society. And I'm not saying that the idea of being woke is not bad, but unfortunately the way we've handled it has become bad. We're just too sensitive. We're too scared that something is really going to hurt or offend, and we just don't want to deal with it, or we don't want to process it as a society. And that's just not healthy. We need to engage it. We need to process it. It's like death. Nobody wants to deal with death. I mean, I just had to deal with that with my grandmother a couple of months ago. The woman practically raised me.
Sorry for your loss, man.
Thank you, buddy. Nobody wants to deal with it, but we have to. We're forced to. Otherwise, we're just going to never move on with life. It's the same thing with, things that could hurt us or offend us. Just because you don't want to deal with it doesn't mean it doesn't need to be dealt with. Deal with it, learn from it, process it, and move on. You don't have to cancel it. You know what I mean?
Right. No, 100%. 100%.
Exactly.
But I want to thank you for joining us again, Chuck. I know it was last minute, but thanks for
always
coming on, man. I've been wanting to get you on here for a while because I know you did your time, served your country proudly, and we appreciate your service.
Thank you.
And for anybody out there, check out Chuck and Ruff Go to the Movies. They're on a hiatus now, but they have a ton of content to listen to. And you can find them on Apple, Spotify.
We are on Apple. We're on Spotify, and wherever you basically get your major podcasts from. The only one that's been giving us trouble lately is iHeartRadio, and I still haven't figured that one out.
Yeah, and then you're also on social media. You're on the Twitterverse, but you do more with Instagram, though, right?
I do more with Instagram. I am on Twitter. I've got a love-hate relationship with Twitter. I've never fully understood it, quite honestly. But yeah, Instagram. When we come out of our hiatus, that I live on Instagram, so that's the best way to interact with us and find out what's happening with the show.
But definitely get on there and bug them to put out another show because they got a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. You push us. I'm literally staring at my brother's work schedule trying to find a recording date, and I finally just need to be pushed to be like, hey, let's do this.
Right. You gotta just pull the trigger, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, let's put him on the spot, Jay. I know he said a lot of stuff, but he's got one more word. Put him on the spot. What you got, Chuck? Words of wisdom. It could be military driven, whatever you think.
Words of wisdom. The biggest thing I can say is that we need to find a way to unite as humanity. We spend a lot of our times fighting each other, picking each other apart, doing things to purposely break down, whether it's mentally or even physically, our fellow man. And as somebody who suffered from that a lot, not just in the Navy, but in life in general, it's very important to me that we learn to come together as a community. We don't always have to agree. We don't always have to see eye to eye. Again, that's one of the beautiful things about movies, because I think movies are a very uniting substance, whether you are on one end of this spectrum or the other end of the spectrum, whatever it may be. It's important that we just stop worrying about what's going to offend the other person, what could possibly hurt the other person. Stop purposely trying to offend and hurt the other person. And let's live life together. Let's grow together. Let's work together. God, I sound like such a fucking hippie. That's it. We need to love each other. We need to be better at that whole community idea. It's the only way we're going to survive as a society. And that's one of the beautiful things about the podcast world. I've noticed it brings together people from all different walks of life. And we all have our own perspectives. We all have our own opinions. We all have our own stories. I've learned a lot just sitting here today. I mean, I've known Heath now for a while, but meeting Jay and listening to I had this perspective of the armed forces that obviously was very skewed. And now I've learned and I've changed that perspective. That's what we need to do, guys. You need to keep an open mind, an open heart, listen to what other people have to say, and realize that you may not have the definitive answer. And it's okay if you learn something new and roll with it.
Like it. Perfect.
Outstanding.
Didn't know we were going to get deep, did you?
Yeah, man. I love it. You never know with Chuck.
I'm all over the place.
Oh, yeah, man. All right, bro. Hey, thanks again for joining us. We're going to close out, but hey, it's been great, dude. Thanks for the awesome episode, man. Thanks for the time.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, guys. And it was wonderful to meet you, Jay.
Oh, you too. I'm definitely going to be looking at, listening to the podcast. Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely that.
All right, brother. Have a good night, man.
You too, buddy.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Bye-bye. Well, we ain't got much to say after that. That was good.
Yeah, it was very knowledgeable.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, there we go. All right. So we got to come back on next month sometime.
Yep.
I don't know. But we'll be back on next month.
Yep.
Might be the end of the month.
Might be the middle of the month. You never know.
Might be the beginning of the month.
Yeah, might be tomorrow.
Tomorrow's next month. You never know. No, but also at the end of this, today is the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes. Good call, man.
Something that's huge for me. So make sure that we are aware, not just for a month. Make sure that we are aware for a lifetime. Make sure that you check on your people. Like I said in a post on Facebook, I've gone through a whole bunch in this last year, and I know who my true friends and family are because they stood beside me and they checked on me all the time to make sure I was good. And I appreciate Heath for coming on to the show with me and helping and making this something that can get my mind off of other things. And then before we even get on here, we sit back and we talk for a minute and ask some questions to each other about how everything's doing. Things like that will help out someone. So look after your friends, look after your people. You know what I mean? If you see that they've changed their attitude, they've changed their ways, they are down a little bit more, or they're not talking as much as they used to, or they might be the opposite. They might be doing things that are wild and weird that you just never thought they would do. Those are signs that they need help. They're asking for that help, but they're not asking for it out loud. They're asking for that help. And it's the time for you to just be an adult and step in. Just be an adult and step in and who gives a shit about if they don't like your ass tomorrow. You fucking save their life today.
That's right.
So just
perfect.
Look after the people.
Definitely. And remember your families, you got your blood family, you got your vet, you got your military family. Don't forget about those either.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. So that's all we got for today. And remember, everybody, a grumpy vet's a happy vet. See y'all next time.